We're on to chapter 35. This was a really long one. It had a lot of politics. It had a lot of action. It was pretty interesting. And we're either on the first time or the second time on the Harkonnen planet of Getty Prime, which pretty much sounds like a dump, sort of a lipstick on a pig scenario where the Baron's tried to make some areas look nicer, but most of it's, not good. And he's got police going all over the place to keep order. Just sounds like a pretty nasty place. And he's about to kick off this big event, essentially a sporting event that's a lot like a gladiator duel, in which Harkonnens, like Feyd Rautha, the up-and-coming leader of the Harkonnens that the Baron's trying to prop up, he's going to do battle with some Harkonnen slaves in a very unfair way, and I'll get to that in a minute. As a reminder, I'm a sci-fi fantasy author. I've written a series, or started a series, called The Song of Imru. The first book is Earth's Door. It's available now. There's more information in the description below. And book 2 is going to be coming out 2026. If you want to kick off a new series I think you might enjoy for watching this video, definitely please take a look. Back to chapter 35. So before this gladiator event begins, Count Fenring and Lady Fenring, who are these ambassadors from the Emperor, are hanging out with the Baron, and Count Fenring kind of gets the Baron off into a corner and has a little chat with him. And in this chat, he basically puts the Baron in his place. He's like, look, you're in power because the Emperor is essentially, using you. Wink, wink, don't mess this up, don't get too cocky, things will be okay. But he's also kind of hinting that, he's just trying to antagonize the Baron, because the Baron is getting a little bit of a big head, thinking that he's, the top dog in terms of all these different houses, these ruling houses. So the Count has to put him in his place a little bit. And he does it in kind of a mocking way. One thing about this chapter and the way that Herbert presented the Count that honestly threw me off is when he's talking to the Count, or he's talking about more serious matters, he speaks very intentionally, but in all his other dialogue, he's doing like this, like almost, he's like drawing out all the different words, and it was a little confusing to read. I'm not sure what Herbert was going for there. There was this notion of like there's some sort of secret language between the Count and his wife, Lady Fenring, who's actually a Bene Gesserit, by the way, so that's important to know. Anyway, that's just something I found a little bit odd. So eventually we go to this arena where all the Harkonnens are in the stadium, and Feyd Rautha is coming out to do battle, and he's basically teamed up with Thawat, who was the old Mentat that sort of defected after Count Leto died, and now he's hanging out with the Baron. And Thuffer's rigged some things to make it look like what the Harkonnens normally do, would really poison whoever the slave they're going to be bringing out is, so that poor person has like no chance against whoever they're fighting on the Harkonnen side. But Thuffer wants, at least it seems this way, wants Feyd Rautha to look good, so he's made it so that this gladiator coming out to fight Feyd looks as if he's not poisoned, so that way Feyd can defeat him more legitimately, or so it will seem, because Feyd's also doing some other trickery. Apparently one knife is supposed to be poisoned and one's not, and whoever he's fighting is aware of which one's which, right hand versus left hand, but he's swapped it. So all this clever trickery going on to basically make Feyd look better than he should. Well, the battle begins, and the slave comes out, and he's actually someone they captured when the Harkonnens took back over Arrakis via the help of the Sardaukar, who are actually disguised as Harkonnens because the Emperor, was trying to get rid of Duke Leto because he's basically scared of Leto. Anyway, so much going on. Essentially, the Emperor just keeps playing all these games to make sure none of the houses gets too powerful. The Duke freaked him out, so he wanted to get rid of him. Now he's kind of doing something a little similar to the Baron. So, like I mentioned, lots of politics going on. And by the way, the Baron also wants Feyd to be the new heir, and that's another thing that Count Fenring is there to observe, is make sure that Feyd is an heir that the Emperor is going to be cool with. So he's checking in on things, which of course highly annoys the Baron. So this battle kicks off, and the Atreides fighter, he's doing a really good job. He gets a few good, attacks in on Feyd. I think he even scratches him, but Feyd just keeps, stabbing him and stuff. And finally, Feyd uses the trick of the dagger with the poison that the Atreides guy wasn't expecting, and stabs him, and then the poor guy eventually dies. But then I guess they're supposed to behead the gladiator that loses, and Feyd refuses to do that. He actually shows the guy some respect and is like, put the dagger on his chest and give him a proper sentence. send-off. This makes the crowd go into a frenzy. So they're just thrilled. So everyone's goal is kind of achieved here. Feyd looks really, really good to his people. The Baron's like, cool, Feyd, put up a good show for the Count. The Count seems to be amused by all of this. I'm not sure if he's going to go tell the Emperor, like, hey, Feyd's a good potential future ruler for the Harkonnens. But then Feyd also seems pretty powerful. I feel like that might freak the Emperor out. I'm not sure if that plays into all this as well. But anyway, so much going on here. Then the chapter ends with the Count's actually going to have his wife seduce Feyd so that his wife can have a baby that has Harkonnen blood, because they think Feyd might actually be, more the chosen one, and they think Paul's gone. So there's that whole thing going on too. So yeah, pretty wild and crazy. Anyway, more to come. Until then, see you later. Bye.